Winter arrives, bringing shorter days and longer nights, wrapping us in the perfect embrace of warmth, where staying cozy becomes the only sensible choice. Most people surrender to this seasonal invitation to rest, to hibernate, to wait for spring before attempting anything difficult. However, this same period of darkness and cold presents something rarely recognized, a natural training ground for transformation that appears only once each year. The ancient samurai understood winter's unique power for personal development. Miyamoto Musashi would withdraw to mountain caves during the winter months to train in complete isolation. The cold, the darkness, and the harsh conditions became his teachers. He wrote in the Book of Five Rings that the warrior's path requires separation from comfortable society, stating that one must walk alone through difficult terrain to discover true strength. Musashi did not wait for perfect conditions to improve himself. He used the harshest season as his training period because he understood that transformation requires discomfort. Yamamoto Tsunetomo, author of the Hagakure, wrote that the way of the samurai is found in death. This phrase does not mean physical death, but rather the death of the weak, comfort-seeking version of oneself. The samurai deliberately chose difficult practices during winter because they knew that the person who emerges from hardship is fundamentally different from the person who entered it. Winter's darkness provided natural cover for this transformation, a time when others rested, while warriors sharpened their skills in secret. This concept of seasonal transformation, what we might call a winter arc, recognizes that the season itself creates ideal circumstances for personal change. When social activities decrease due to weather and darkness, when most people withdraw into comfort and routine, opportunity emerges for those willing to move in the opposite direction. While the majority uses winter as a time to pause their efforts and goals, a small group recognizes this as the perfect moment to accelerate. The same environmental factors that others use as excuses become advantages for those who understand how to use them. The first requirement for this transformation involves what the samurai called disciplined invisibility, deliberately reducing visibility in social spaces to create room for focused work. When Musashi disappeared into the mountains, no one knew what he was doing or why. He emerged years later as a completely different person, and only then did the results speak. This approach does not mean abandoning relationships, but becoming selective about where attention and energy flow. Social gatherings that exist primarily to pass time, endless conversations that lead nowhere, and activities that distract from important work all fade into the background. Research in psychology confirms that environment shapes behavior more powerfully than willpower alone. If we try to transform while maintaining all the same social patterns, physical spaces, and daily routines, we essentially ask ourselves to become different while everything around us stays the same, creating constant friction. The samurai understood this instinctively, which is why serious training always involved physical or mental separation from normal life. We stay in the same physical locations, but operate from a different mental space, focused inward rather than outward. The transformation itself requires specific daily practices that might appear simple but accumulate into profound change over time. The first practice involves rising before dawn, a pattern samurai warriors followed without exception. In feudal Japan, warriors would wake hours before sunrise to begin their training while the world still slept. When we wake before dawn, we gain time that exists outside the normal demands of the day. This early period tends to be quieter, with fewer distractions and interruptions. Scientific research shows that early waking resets the body's natural clock, improving both discipline and productivity throughout the day. Studies also indicate that people who consistently wake early report higher levels of happiness and life satisfaction. The difficulty with early waking lies not in the action itself, But in the moment of decision, when the alarm sounds, the brain immediately begins generating reasons to delay, to rest a few more minutes, to start tomorrow instead. A useful approach involves removing the thinking step entirely. The alarm sounds, the body moves, no pause for consideration. This direct action bypasses the mind's tendency to negotiate and compromise. Tsunetomo wrote in Hagakure that matters of great concern should be treated lightly, meaning we should not overthink simple actions. Just move. Cold exposure represents another practice deeply rooted in samurai tradition. Warriors practiced misogi, a purification ritual involving standing under freezing waterfalls during winter months. This practice was not about cleanliness, but about breaking the spirit's attachment to comfort. Every session under icy water became a small victory over the part of oneself that always chooses the easy path. Beyond the psychological benefits, cold exposure triggers the release of norepinephrine, a chemical that improves mood and mental alertness. Wim Hof, a modern practitioner sometimes called the Iceman, developed his famous cold training methods after experiencing deep personal tragedy. He discovered that cold water somehow provided relief and began training his body and mind to withstand extreme temperatures. While most people need not pursue such extremes, daily cold showers offer accessible entry into this ancient samurai practice. Meditation forms the cornerstone of samurai mental training. However, sitting quietly with closed eyes often feels boring or difficult for modern people. An alternative approach combines physical challenge with mental focus through what might be called warrior meditation. Holding a plank position for 2 to 5 minutes while focusing solely on breathing engages both body and mind simultaneously. When muscles begin burning and the mind starts screaming to stop, the real practice begins. That moment of wanting to quit but choosing to continue builds mental discipline more effectively than comfortable meditation. This mirrors the samurai practice of seiza, sitting in formal posture despite physical discomfort, training the mind to remain calm regardless of what the body experiences. Research indicates that just 8 weeks of regular meditation practice reduces stress and improves memory, suggesting that consistent practice reshapes both mental and physical capacity. Physical training forms another essential component of winter transformation, reflecting the samurai dedication to tundran, the forging of the body like a sword blade. Working on the body for 30 to 45 minutes daily, whether through push-ups, squats, running, or structured training, takes advantage of winter's unique conditions. Metabolism naturally slows during cold months, which actually makes muscle building easier if combined with proper exercise and nutrition. The samurai did not wait for perfect weather to train. They trained hardest during the most difficult seasons because they understood that comfort breeds weakness. Taking a photo at the start and end of this period creates visible proof of progress, transforming abstract effort into concrete results that cannot be denied. Sleep quality determines morning energy, creating a cycle that either supports or undermines transformation. Many people struggle with early waking because they stay up late using devices that stimulate the brain when it should be winding down. The samurai followed natural light cycles, sleeping when darkness fell and waking before dawn. We can adapt this by replacing late-night device use with reading physical books. The act of reading, particularly with a small reading light that does not brighten the entire room, provides enough mental engagement to prevent boredom while remaining calming enough to encourage sleep. Whether the content is fiction or educational matters less than the practice itself. Reading trains concentration, much like running trains physical stamina, building capacity gradually through regular practice. Finally, transformation requires clear direction beyond general desires for improvement. The samurai concept of Hoshin, single-minded focus, provides the framework for what might be called a super goal system. This process begins with identifying one major goal to achieve within 90 days. Whether mastering a skill, passing a test, or transforming physical appearance. This super goal then breaks into 3 big milestones, which further divide into 12 weekly targets. Each week becomes one clear step toward the larger destination. Musashi wrote that you should not have a favorite weapon, meaning you should not scatter your attention across many tools and techniques. Instead, master one approach completely before moving to another. Research shows that when we multitask, our effective intelligence temporarily drops as if we had not slept. Attempting 10 things at once ensures none receive adequate attention. However, when we focus intensely on one thing, the brain automatically operates at full capacity. The samurai practiced this through their dedication to single combat techniques, repeating the same sword strike thousands of times until it became perfect. Deep work sessions of 2 to 3 hours, completely free from distractions, produce more progress than entire days of divided attention. The phone stays aside, messages stay muted, and consciousness narrows to a single point of focus. These practices form a complete system rather than a collection of random suggestions, much like the Samurai Bushido Code provided a complete framework for living. Rising early creates time, cold exposure builds mental toughness, warrior meditation develops focus, physical training forges the body, reading improves sleep quality, and the super goal system provides clear direction through each and end. Together, they address different aspects of the same transformation, reinforcing each other rather than competing for resources. Within 90 days, which takes us from winter into early spring, a person following this system consistently will emerge genuinely changed. The samurai call this process shuyo, intense training that transforms character. When spring arrives and others emerge from their hibernation unchanged, those who embrace the winter arc will have become fundamentally different, carrying the discipline and strength that only winter's darkness could forge. And write in the comments that I will utilize this winter arc properly. We appreciate you spending time with us. Remember, every moment you invest here brings you one step closer to greatness. Stay with us for more.